And now on to the common gimmick that is shared throughout all of the transformable figures in the 2009 series. And that is Mech Alive. On the box it says, Earthly and Autobot scientists come up with this way of shifting panels around in gear so that they move faster, they're protected by metal armor, and then the Decepticons stole it, and blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's just their excuse for giving us moving features that, again, add more character to these figures than just simply transforming them or posing them. This is a what-if type gimmick. Like, what if it could move in this fashion? The two features in Optimus Prime, believe it or not, actually look as if they belong in the movie. The first one I've mentioned several times now is in the upper arms. You'll notice, or maybe not because it might be too fuzzy on camera, the lower arm, or the upper arm, just above the elbow, is actually hollow on three sides. The front, the back, and on the outside where nobody can actually see it. You can't see it. You move the panel, you gotta look underneath. You can't see it. It would have been nicer if it was hollow on the inner side, but yeah, whatever. Okay. So anyways, what happens is when you turn the elbow horizontally, look inside this little dark area right here. I know it's fuzzy on camera, I do apologize, but you can see there actually is stuff moving around inside there. Some kind of column down the center that's all, detailed up. It's got some kind of mechanical looking stuff in there. That's pretty awesome. I love that feature because it just gives it a level of realism. It's not just a servo motor on the outside or the spring or piston or something like that. There's actually something on the inside, like muscles, or like the whole skeleton is moving. I don't know if this guy has a skeleton, but that is just an epic feature. It really, really is. It's just great. But the one feature that is promoted the most with this figure is his torso shifting. That's what I call it. Because you can reach through the box and you can actually touch Optimus Prime while he's still in the box. So what you do, if you haven't had a chance to study this, you can see this kind of Y-shaped panel here, and you just pull it down. Believe it or not, it actually does look like that. I mean, my God, the level of detail in this torso, I just keep going on and on and on. It's epic. They've even got, you can't see it on camera, and it was a little tricky to photograph as well, but if you look on the text review on CollectionDX.com, I took a photograph of that very, very, very tiny Autobot logo that's been carved in there, just above the copper-colored parts, but just below his red neck part. Wedged in there is an Autobot symbol, which is where it actually is in the movies. It's not sitting up here. It's wedged in right there. It's a little white thing. You actually see it when he first transforms in the first movie. It's epic. So anyways, you fold this Y-shaped panel down, and then you just pull down on it. And you get, this is great,
I am Optimus Prime.
the voice of actor Peter Cullen speaking aloud the line. I ask you this mostly because I don't know the answer. How many toys of Optimus Prime over the past 25 years have said,
I am Optimus Prime,
whenever you press a button? Like, how many toys of Optimus Prime have we had where more or less the only thing he says is, I'm Optimus Prime? With all due respect, we know he's Optimus Prime, but why don't you have him say a couple other things? I mean, this is Peter frickin' Cullen we're talking about here, okay? He originated the character in '84. He came back in 2007. Epic. Make him say something else. I am Optimus Prime. That's it? What? Come on. Even Transformers Animated, you had Megatron saying 3 different phrases. You had Ultra Magnus saying 3 different phrases. Even Transformers Universe 2.0, those were saying, those had more than one phrase built into them. I mean, this toy only has 3 sound effects in it. He's got the engine idling in truck mode. He's got the transformation sound effect when you open and close the waist when you're transforming him. And then you've got the Mech Alive voice. Mech Alive does more in the chest than simply move these outer panels and his head at the same time, and it more than it lights up. If you look at the inside the windows, I'll try to do this slower so you can actually follow along with it, but you can actually see the gears moving around in there.
I am Optimus Prime.
You know what? I have a better way to do this. I can just push up and down on it. And I won't. So you can see the gears moving around in there. And you can also see the door on the side is also shifting in and out. So that's pretty damn awesome. I love this toy. It's a great toy. Complicated transformation, but you know, and some finicky posing to it, but it's still an awesome toy. I love this thing. As I stated at the beginning of this video, this is an amazing toy. The level of articulation has a couple of limits on it. It's average, and it has a couple of limits in it. The transformation is stupidly complex. When you're twisting out, just little knee pads, it gets really sick when you start messing around with those sun visors. Okay, it's really, really, really sick. It's epic. Having the swords pop out is great. If I had any significant complaints, I mean, other than the arms being limited because of the swords and those panels on there, I think coloring might be a bit of an issue. You can see on the front of his feet those red panels there. Well, those are not actually red in the movie. There's some panels along the side here that are actually blue, and there's actually some red along here. He actually has better paint apps in truck mode than he does in robot mode. I mean, believe it or not, there's not much paint. There's not much new paint detail in robot mode compared with truck mode. So, if it were up to me, if these have to be a different color, because believe it or not, in the movie, Optimus Prime is actually more blue than he is red. That's just because of, how motion picture cameras work, and it was illustrated in the DVD details, and I didn't get it. So maybe Hasbro was trying to pimp out a little more red in the toy, because they could get away with it. But coloring changes. I'd probably change if this has to be a different color other than the light gray. Ideally, would have been the light gray coloring. I would have changed it to the blue coloring. Really, that's the only big problem I had with the coloring scheme. I might have put more flames, put the blue flames, those infamously controversial blue flames onto the top and the sides of these red sections here. I would also have painted up the headlights, just make them white or light blue or something like that, because those actually are the headlights. The headlights for the toy are actually on the outside down here, but that's where the headlights end up. So I would have painted those up too. I might also have extended some of the antenna on the sides of his head are actually silver. I would have painted up the head a little bit more. Don't just make it the face details. Give us a few other things. The bottom of these blue panels here are actually red. So like I said, there were a couple of small details I would have changed. Now, granted, this is the only copper piece that was actually painted copper. And truthfully, I don't want them to paint up all the super, blah, 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 things like that. The super articulate springs and tubes and gears and things like that. They don't need to do that. Truthfully, that would be asking too much. If there was one thing that I could reasonably ask Hasbro to give us, if Hasbro intends to make a premium line of figures from the 2009 movie, I would make one request of them. If you can, and even if it doesn't fit into truck mode, because this is already complex enough as it is for transformation, I don't expect you to integrate this into truck mode, okay? It would be nice if you gave us not only the long cannon that he had in the first movie, but also those kind of smaller machine guns that he had when he was rescuing Sam in the second movie. Oh, did I just reveal that? Sorry. If we could have, those small machine guns that he had, and the larger cannon. That larger cannon doesn't even have to have a strap on it. The kind of energy transfer cable, whatever. If you could give us those cannons, that would be really nice. Those are the only things that are missing. Like, you've got holes in the hands, but the hands don't hold anything. And it can't really hold any weapons from any of the toys, because all the other toys have integrated weapons as well. So it's kind of pointless to be having hands with holes in them, So if you guys could give us the cannon and the machine guns, I'd really like that. That would make this great. I mean, if you can't, and that's with a premium update. Don't get rid of the swords. Don't change the swords. Swords are fine. If you're going to do a repaint, a premium grade repaint, include those cannons with, okay? They don't have to merge with truck mode, like put them on the fifth wheel or something like that, you know, just set them on like a little trailer cannon or something like that, you know? Just don't blow it out of proportion, okay? Just give us 3 shooting weapons and that's it. They don't even have to shoot. Well, yeah, maybe the cannon could shoot. That would be nice. This toy is, I don't know how many times I can say it, how many different ways I can say it. This toy is amazing. Just, I think this is going to become a favorite in my collection. Out of all the pieces I have, Super Sentai, Transformers, Power Rangers, Gag Me, Bionicle, you know, all kinds of things like that. Out of all the things in my collection, I think this is going to become a favorite. This is going to go into that top 20, top 15 or whatever it is. Like I said, it's got a complex transformation that borders on Transformers Alternator Vinyl Tech, but it's, you know, it's still got a couple of flaws in it that kind of remind me how complex and how difficult it is to engineer these things. So very much kudos and thanks to Hasbro and to Karatami. I'm sure they were involved in this. Thanks to both of those companies for giving us a reimagined version of Prime. The version that you gave us in 2007 was a pretty awesome start. I didn't want it because it had a couple of things to it that I just couldn't swallow. It just wasn't going to work out for me. And I was on the verge of buying one when I saw this, and I was like, okay, that thing's going right back on the shelf. This thing is as different from the 2007 version of the Leader Class Prime as day and night. It's that different. It's far more complex, but with all that praise, however, must come a warning. I had to make a second video in order to cover just the transformation process. Thankfully for our sponsorship with YouTube, I'm able to make videos so long as opposed to 6 or 7 videos. Thank you, YouTube. I really appreciate the extended time. The 2007 toy was marketed to the younger audience. The 2009 toy, which you see here, is also marketed to the younger audience. The difference is, this 2009 version is far more screen accurate and is far more complex at the request of fans and collectors. In this, I must concur with fellow reviewers across the internet that this toy really doesn't belong in the hands of a 5 or 6-year-old. It is too complex. It really is. I am almost 27 years old, and this thing is very complex. The transformation is really the biggest thing. I can imagine parents across America having to spend 15 and 20 minutes transforming this thing because little Sam is, you know, kind of crying his eyes out over not being able to transform this one part. And these parents are becoming more familiar with the toy than the kid is. What age range would I promote it to? Maybe, I don't know, that's a tough call. 10 or 12. Like, this is the level of Alternators line, and that was marketed towards the older audience specifically, even though, you know, kids could play with it. It is that level of complex. So really, I would say 10 to 12-year-olds, no earlier than. Now, if you're a responsible parent, you think your kid can handle this without them bringing it to you every single day, more power to you. Go ahead. You know, I am not trying to overrule you. I'm just saying, parents, look at this thing. Look at that second video that I've just, you know, look at the video I'm making right now, but also look at that transformation video and say to yourself, can my kid handle this? Is this worth the investment and money? You know, you sit on this toy for 25 years, I'm sure it's likely to, like, double in price or something. Who knows, we may have textured holograms in 25 years. I don't know. We might not have to worry about ABS and PVC and or even die-cast construction. It's a lost art. But in the meantime, this toy is a very complex toy. It's a very detailed toy. Yeah, it's Optimus Prime. It looks just like he does in the movie, but the question is, can little kids handle it? I would say no. 10 to 12 years old is where I would put it, where I would start. Kids are smart enough at that age. They're not throwing things around. They're not putting them in their mouths. They're not putting stuff in their mouths, you know, things like that. So, you know, 10 to 12 years is what I would recommend for this toy. be sure to view part 2 of this video review for Leader Class Autobot Optimus Prime. It's worth a look. Even if you don't have one, just to see the engineering that goes into this thing is pretty astounding. How in the hell are they going to get Jetfire to combine with this guy? This is Ava Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com, signing off.